I would probably start with a very general yet extremely vital question at this point, and that would be, is there a future to air travel after COVID-19 pandemic? And where are we gonna go from here?
I'm not saying people won't fly, and in fact, global numbers of flyers will probably tick upwards for the next decade, but they'll only tick upwards because more Chinese, Indians, and Africans are getting in the sky, you know? And Europeans are gonna get out of the sky in a significant way. And that's for two reasons. One, I do think ecologically, airlines are incredible dinosaurs in the use of fossil fuels, and that's really going to start to hit them a lot in the next decade. And I think a lot of people, they will be traveling, but they won't be traveling as much because they can't offset the carbon cost of their travel, which is catastrophically high. So I think that's one thing. But the more subtle point is that it's probably related to the first, but I think people were traveling in developed countries in a very adjacent way. So it wasn't like they were going between A and B or even A, B, and C. They were just like bouncing around the world. So you have like middle-class Czech people going to Bali, for example, and then the next month they'd be in Los Angeles. So I think that's done. I really do think that is done. And also it's done because we're a little bit more socially versed in digital interaction, as we see from this meeting even now, right? So business travel will really collapse. And because business travel collapses, then the price of air tickets will really be pushed up quite high.
But I think you touched one important aspect of the air travel, and that's the division between the economy class and between the business class, or I mean between leisure oriented type of travel and more business oriented travel. So you think that the business travel will collapse because people would just get used to all the Zoom meetings? Do you think it's really able to substitute for real life encounters in all cases?
Normally what you would say in business is, if you want to open a deal, you should meet someone. If you want to close the deal, you should meet someone. Otherwise, it's process, and process can be done digitally. You know, and we've all had experiences, yeah, of going to a conference, which we know as soon as you walk in the conference, you know, oh, this is a waste of time. Why did I fly to Eindhoven?
That's for sure true. That's a good point. Daniel, what about you? How do you think that the industrial design production for air companies will change with this shift Jonathan is describing?
Well, it immediately changed in January last year. Like it was like a lightning, because immediately all the companies canceled like order of new designs for their food sets on board, and immediately asked us to develop one use only, because there were these restrictions that nothing should be washed, and immediately all the waste should be burned after landing. There was a struggle how to differentiate like the design or the look for business class with one use tableware. It was pretty task, yeah. So it ended
How did you solve it?
Yeah, economy was plastic and business was recyclable mostly thing, but it was more like a feeling than the like real recycle, because it should be burned immediately because of the COVID.
Okay.
So it was.
Then the question of recycling is suddenly gone, right?
No, it was just for the passengers to feeling, my carbon trace is not that high. I'm eating out of paper or sugar cane, something.
Adéla, what about you in terms of your proposal for an ecological, sustainable airport? Like, were you also thinking about insides of the plane, or just about the infrastructure for landing and exchange and transit?
Yeah, I was thinking about the infrastructure, not as about the planes itself, like inside the planes. But I was trying to like make the airport self-sustainable, that it didn't need some electricity from the island, because there is like not some great electricity in Bali, because it's like Asia and really small island with problems that has. So I was like designing that there could be like some factory that produce the electricity inside the floating desk. So it should like make electricity for the whole airport, and also for the planes, like so there was like kind of sustainability its own selves, but I didn't think about the airplanes, because
Jonathan, you were as you mentioned, you were conceptualizing together with Norman Foster these airports or drone ports in Central Africa. Those were also meant as a kind of a community centers. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. The idea around the drone port, which is still ongoing, the World Bank is now carrying the project forward in several countries. The idea was that you'd have an aerial hub in every town in the Pantropics. You know, there would be a hub. I mean, even as we developed that project, which we took to the Venice Biennale, I don't know, it's like 2017, maybe 2018. But even since we did the project, the technology has moved on, you know, almost to an embarrassing degree, because when we did the project, Norman and I were thinking, well, the drone, you need a runway. The drone needs to land, it needs to take off. And we knew at some future point you would have these vertical takeoff and landing drones, but we already have them now, right? So that changes the whole architecturally. Obviously, everything gets compacted, then you can start landing on rooftops, you know. Mm-hmm. But I do think for poorer countries, for emerging countries, there's going to be this, you know, in an ideal future, there will be this interface between community and technology.
That sounds good. But okay, so Daniel, what do you think in respect to your field in terms of like industrial design? Do you have also some visions, or your job is rather focused on fulfilling the current needs? Are you also thinking about the ways how the air travel can change, and what new design solutions would be needed or necessary there?
I think like it won't be so demanding now, because all the airline companies are trying to save money as much as possible, more than it was in the past. And I think like finally it can be some space for sustainable approach, because in the past, like all the amounts of the products like the plates, the cutlery, the glasses or plastic cups. It was incredible. And now, since the amount of passengers is decreased or it's decreasing, then finally, like it's a space to use like the durable materials, like not for one use only, because then the companies are seeing that they can afford to invest more in a product that can be industrially washed and it's not thrown away after one use. So I think it can be better or greener, maybe.
Max, do you want to join the discussion also with your vision of the air travel in the upcoming months and years?
I think that's rather grim, honestly. So I think that no, geez, that's a horrible question. I mean, to a certain degree, I think that that now that we've somehow got used to this and we've realized that this is even possible, I think there's going to be just like so much guilt in flying anytime ever for everyone that it's just going to be, it's just like the whole industry has to change dramatically. And as Jonathan mentioned, and I've looked into this slightly myself, actually converting the whole aerial travel into electric or green energy sources is more or less for now either impossible or so expensive that nobody would actually start a business like that. We'll see what happens. I mean, my guess is that the number of low-cost airlines, first of all, is going to change or lower drastically. So, but that's my only prediction I have, probably.
Okay, Max, can I ask you what's your expectation in terms of time? We are, I think, around like half an hour, or just
exactly.
You didn't have enough time to discuss exactly what you want to get from the talk, so maybe just
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I'm just gonna turn around so I'm watching you and you see me. I guess we can go for like 20 more minutes or something. And what I would like to probably get into, and I can't really formulate the question, maybe Yanni will be more capable in this department.
So yeah, now is your turn to formulate a question.
Now I should formulate it to a question. Okay. Okay. Good. So let's take it apart. So let's just start with the differences in geographies. That's a question probably for all of you, or maybe specifically for Adéla. Why did you? It's probably the reasons are quite obvious, but can you please elaborate a bit on your reasoning why you decided to place your project in Bali, and what would be the difference if such a structure should function in London, for instance?
I was designing the airport in Bali because this island is quite close to me. That's the first reason why I chose this. But I wanted to there should be a second airport. They are planning to build the second airport. So I tried to show how to use traditional material and traditional technologies and turn them into like new ones and new possible structures. And I wanted to show that airports could be like representative buildings because they are a part of countries and cities. And as Jonathan said, it's always or almost like not a quite pleasant building for the travelers. So I wanted to mention that airports are like civic representative buildings that should like have a high architectural.
Dan, but can you tell us a bit more about the differences between the products you would design then for the business class or first class even, and the economy one? What kind of companies you said you were actually?
Yeah, it was like every company has a different approach. Like in my opinion, most generous was Turkish Airlines, because there are always like, there was this must that even the economy class should have like hot meal on board. Air Malta was really brave that like they invest for the business class, like terracotta bowls, and as a underplate, it was like this traditional ceramic tile, like hand painted. It's a small airline company, but I guess rich, so they really wanted like to take care of the passengers this way, like to remind them, yeah, you are flying to Malta. This is our culture. We are eating this type of tableware. And also for economic, it was melamine, which looks like porcelain, but you cannot break it. And also the patterns were used, so but in smaller scale. So it was And then in terms of like hundreds of thousands of pieces, it's a huge investment, but they know it will pay off with the reviews.
Recently, I watched, it was so funny. I watched this YouTube review of a suitcase or a trolley, and this person was saying, oh, at this particular airport, the surfaces are so smooth that I can just like flip the suitcase and it goes for 10 meters. But at the other airport, it was just 5 meters. So I think it's insane what kind of
there is like a whole culture about like with the people doing reviews about the menu on board, the food on board, and the service in general. It's I was shocked. Like it's a hobby for someone, or a way to how to make money, like being an influencer and doing the vlogs about all the companies, their food and stuff.
Sorry, and do the airlines care? Are they like?
Like they are aware, or it's mostly the staff on board that they are aware of these bloggers, and they know that they can be assholes, or they have to take a special care of them.
We should add some romantic moment to the discussion. Jonathan, you were saying that you remember those good old days. Do you have some personal experience of your own, of some really great flight which you enjoyed for whatever reason?
You know, I don't tend to watch movies when I fly. I mean, I fly pre-pandemic. I flew a lot, you know, just for my work, and flying a lot to Africa, especially. And I just love looking out the window. You know, I can look out the window for hours, and I spend a lot of time in my work thinking about the biosphere. You know, and in fact, the whole reason that I got into the drone stuff was thinking about sky, you know, like sky is so big and it's so underutilized. But just this ability to look, I mean, how amazing is that, to be sitting in a plane and look out at the Sahara Desert at night? I mean, that's just like, and there's the Nile, and you know, and there's Congo. It's just incredible. And my favorite flight of all is when you fly to New York from the UK, and you always want to fly over the southern tip of Greenland. And that's you should look out at night then, because you can often see this southern tip of Greenland with the icebergs, you know, carving out into the ocean. My Lord, that's all for free, you know? I'm amazed. That's incredible. Yeah, I love that.
Max, would you like to add something to this, or do you want to tell us the origin story why you actually started with the project? And if it's too serious, then I'm not sure. But
no, not really. Honestly, I mean, I love flying. I love it so much. It's horrible because I mean I really enjoy it so much. Like my girlfriend is a daughter of a pilot, so her whole life has been like flying in first class because, oh, Mr. Captain's daughter, of course, yes, come in. And now that we're going out, obviously we can't afford like another first class flight ticket, so we obviously fly economy. And my girlfriend is always like a super, she got so used to flying that she basically more or less every time falls asleep. And now it's just like we were 2 years together, and for the first time we flew somewhere. I think it was Italy, I'm not sure. And I was just so excited. I kept waking her up all the time. I just like look out the window and it's like, oh look, clouds, oh look, something else. And she got extremely pissed. And then like slight turbulences happened, and I was getting scared slightly. And she's like, oh honey, don't worry about that. In case we fall and the oxygen masks drop, the oxygen is meant actually just to calm you down and make you dizzy. Good night. And with that, she just like left me there, completely scared to shit. And this extreme experience of like flying again after like 15 years, I haven't flown since I was like 6 to 21 or something. And this experience of the rush of when the plane takes off, and then this experience of being extremely scared that we're going to all die, suddenly somehow made me extremely interested in flying again now. So that's the origin story of Up in the Sky.